Welcome back, Fallout 76 players. This is Cosmic Scoundrel bringing you another video. Today, I will be showcasing my Fallout 76 build, which I mentioned in the previous video where I solo killed the Scorchbeast Queen. This is my personal favorite build, which I settled on after spending far too many points on respecking. I think Bethesda should have allowed people to fully respec their special every 5 levels, similar to obtaining perk card packs, but the current method makes players grind and play longer, which sucks for us, but is good for them. This build is a shotgun melee hybrid, which is great all around for playing solo, with a team, killing the queen, or just wandering the wasteland. Starting off, here is the special stat investment with 12 strength, 3 perception, 9 endurance, 5 charisma, 8 intelligence, 11 agility, and 8 luck. Things to note about the special. The best specials in my opinion are strength, because it gives you 5 more carry weight per point, endurance because it gives you 5 more health per point, and agility because it gives you 10 more AP per point. Keeping this in mind, perk cards and balance across the build are very important. Now let's get into the perk cards when you're using the shotgun. Starting off with strength, you want to pick up Shotgunner, Expert Shotgunner, and Master Shotgunner, making sure to max out each card with 3 points. The next strength card is Scattershot. This is going to decrease the weight of your shotgun, but more importantly, increase the speed of your reload by 30%. This, coupled with the Speed Demon mutation, is really helpful for keeping a high DPS and not getting rushed while you're reloading. Next, for perception you want to pick up Skeet Shooter. Skeet Shooter is going to improve your shotgun's accuracy and spread. Now I've seen other builds that use weapons with the explosive legendary effect, and they have equipped the perk card Grenadier. All that's going to do is take up 2 points of perception, which you can invest into another stat, and as you can see in this video, there's no difference. Now for endurance, I use Life Giver, Chem Fiend, and Chem Resistant. Chems are really good at increasing your stats, and so you want them to last long and pop them in as much as you can. I tend to use Psycho Buff and other Psycho-based chems because of their damage increase. With rank 5 Charisma, you can use max level Lone Wanderer and Tenderizer rank 1 together. Like a lot of other perks, Tenderizer has diminishing returns, so you're better off with the initial rank. If you are persistent with your attacks, it's definitely worth saving the 2 special and perk points for only 2% less damage. If you are on a team, definitely equip Strange in Numbers to take advantage of mutations, as well as Team Medic. That way when you heal, your friends also heal for free. Alternatively, you could also substitute Team Medic with Suppressor. And remember, with every 3 points of Charisma, you can share 1 perk card, which will help your whole team. In this case, Tenderizer is rank 1 and we have 5 points of Charisma, so we can share the Tenderizer perk, for example. On to Intelligence. I use Demolition Expert to really up the explosive damage, as well as batteries included to carry fusion cores. With batteries included, you don't have to store fusion cores in your camp, which will take up a lot of space, and there's no need for the Power User perk. Power User doubles the duration of fusion cores, but batteries included reduces their weight by 90%. So let's say 1 fusion core, which weighs 3 pounds, lasts for 2 hours with Power User. Instead, you could have 30 fusion cores, which also weigh 3 pounds in total, but will last you 30 hours. That's much longer for a simple trade-off of obtaining more fusion cores, which are easy to farm. I will post another video soon that goes over farming locations for fusion cores, caps, XP, and legendaries. As for agility, Adrenaline is a great perk for boosting your damage. It increases your damage by 10% after every kill, all the way up to 60, and each kill refreshes the duration, which lasts 30 seconds. I also throw on Enforcer for stagger and crippling damage, which helps with landing the Scorch Beasts. Additionally, Action Boy or Action Girl is important to keep your AP available, so go ahead and pick the max rank of that card up too. Last but not least, Luck. I run with Bloody Mess for the extra 15% damage as well as Starched Jeans and Class Freak. I do this because I use quite a few mutations and I highly recommend picking some up for yourself. It's going to make gameplay a bit more fun and your character more powerful. I'll get into mutations right after the next segment. Now I will discuss card swapping. This is used for switching the build to a melee focus. Most of the time I'm running around in Fallout 76, I'm using my melee build, which utilizes the same special stats but different perk cards. This is a really strong build that allows me to conserve ammo and resources because I don't have to repair my weapons as much. For strength, we are going to use whatever melee cards you specialize in. I use two-handed, so I have all 3 Slugger perk cards equipped. A quick note, if you are using an unarmed weapon, you will be at a disadvantage because you can't use your weapon in power armor, and I highly recommend using power armor with this build. For the last card, we are going to use Martial Artist, which reduces the weight of all melee weapons and makes them swing 30% faster. This is great, especially if you get a weapon with a legendary effect that lets you swing faster, because the 2 effects stack. Perception. We will be removing Skeet Shooter and picking up Glow Sight to get 60% extra damage against glowing enemies. Glowing enemies are common, especially in events, so definitely pick up this perk to get that extra damage against these tougher enemies. Endurance. Go ahead and remove Chem Fiend and pick up All Night Long, so your hunger and thirst grow 60% slower at night, which it seems is about half the time you're playing. And then go ahead and switch out Chem Resistant with Rejuvenated, because when your thirst and hunger are above 75%, it's considered well-fed or well-hydrated. And then with Rejuvenated, it gets you an extra bonus of 50 AP regen, 50 health, and 50% disease resistance. I hate diseases in Fallout 76, so this is a great buff. Go ahead and keep using the same perks for Charisma. For Intelligence, switch out Demolition Expert with Makeshift Warrior, which is going to make your melee weapons degrade 50% slower, which is great because we run around the wasteland most of the time with this build, and you're not going to have to repair your stuff as much. For Agility, switch out Enforcer with Gun Fu. This works for guns as well as melee, and really helps with damage output and targeting multiple enemies. Remember to hit left and right on the D-pad to switch who you're targeting in VATS, and also remember that your AP constantly goes down while in VATS. But the nice thing is with this build, your AP is going to go up really quickly. So after you take out a few enemies and exit VATS, your AP is going to go up really fast, and then you can enter VATS again and keep taking out enemies in melee. On to Mutations. A quick note about Healing Factor. I don't like Healing Factor, because it reduces the effectiveness of chems. Even though your health goes up really quickly when you're outside of combat, you want your chems, Stimpaks included, to be really effective when you're in combat so you don't go down. And even with the Class Freak perk, I don't think it's worth picking up. Chems are so powerful and useful, and they're really good to take advantage of. Alcohol is also useful for putting up with all the crap in Fallout 76, and it's also kind of useful in-game. Here is a list of all my mutations. Remember that the Class Freak perk under the Lux Special is going to reduce the negative effects of mutations, as you can see here. You definitely don't need all these mutations, but there are a few I highly recommend picking up. Those include Adrenal Reaction, which will slightly decrease your max health, but boost your damage at low health. Marsupial, which will increase your carry weight by 20 and improve your jump height at the cost of 1 intelligence. Scaly Skin will reduce your AP by 12, but increase your damage and energy resistance by 50 each. Speed Demon will increase your reload and movement speed, and increase the rate of your hunger and thirst buildup. That's where the All Night Long perk I mentioned earlier comes in handy. And finally, Twisted Muscles, which will reduce your gun accuracy by 12%, but increase melee damage by 25% with increased crippling chance. Okay, as for equipment, in this build you'll want to use a shotgun and either a one-handed or two-handed melee weapon. Currently I'm using a 2-shot explosive combat shotgun when I'm fighting the Scorchbeast Queen or other Scorchbeasts, but most of the time I run around with an instigating Grognax axe with faster swing speed. And a really important thing to note, in the last week or so, Bethesda announced that they will be nerfing the 2-shot and legendary effect, which will go from increasing damage by 100% each to a 25% buff for the 2-shot and a 20% buff for the explosive. So damage percentages are added using the base damage. So if your regular non-legendary shotgun is currently doing 100 base damage, if you find the same one that has an explosive and legendary effect, it's going to be doing 300 damage. After the patch, however, your damage is going to be 145, so about under half of what it was. I personally think that this is a good thing, even though I won't be able to solo the Queen as easily, because the gameplay will be more balanced and this build should still hold up pretty well. I will be posting another video after the patch discussing the nerf and damage output. Finally, my armor. I use max level 50, X01 power armor. Mods I use are the helmet's VATS Matrix Overlay for an additional 10% accuracy in VATS. For the torso, I run around with the core assembly for increased AP regen, which helps a lot. I do switch over to my jetpack torso when I'm running my shotgun build, but I only use that for the Queen and other Scorch Beasts. I use the optimized bracers on both arms for reduced power attack AP cost, though this mod doesn't seem to be working yet. I chose the bracers because I use two-handed melee weapons, and you can't use unarmed weapons in power armor, so here's hoping for a patch that fixes the bracers soon. For leg mods, I run with the kinetic servos to keep my AP up, though the calibrated shocks are also great if you find yourself overweight quite a bit. Another thing to note is that the effects of these mods on your arms and legs do stack, and I can confirm that the kinetic servos does currently work and they do stack. And definitely throw your extra power armor with different mods on another frame, because you can carry that extra frame around for just 10 carry weight total, and then swap out the pieces to fit your needs. That concludes everything for this video. As mentioned earlier, I will be coming out with an XP, Legendary, Fusion Cores, and Caps farming video soon, as well as a tips and tricks video to give you an idea of a little routine I like to make playtime easier. Please comment, like, subscribe, or all three if you enjoyed what I had to say. And thanks for watching. Cosmic Scoundrel signing off.